Amen. I'll say Dee Coleman.
Suzanne Coleman.
Ruth Rose.
Mary Hill.
Nick Thompson.
Kathy Bailey.
Mary Jackson.
Robert Cole.
I am Katherine Moore. This is my process speech, and it is October the 8th, 2014. Archery has been around for centuries. It is the oldest shooting sport there is, and it's still a lot of fun today. Now, I learned archery at summer camp when I was a kid, and when I got old enough, I took the training and I became an instructor myself. I've worked at 3 different summer camps as a range master. I worked at Girl Scout camp, Boy Scout camp, and a Rotary youth camp. So, being a range master, I've decided to give you some of the basic procedure at your average archery range. Now, at an archery range, you have the range master, and he calls the range signals, which is to the shooting line, fire, and retrieve your arrows. And these are usually done with blasts of a whistle. So start with the first one, to the shooting line. That's 2 blasts of the whistle. When you hear that, you walk from where you're waiting to the shooting line. You're going to have an actual line there, and you straddle the line, stand like this, and you pick up your bow, but don't touch your arrows. You hold the bow in your non-dominant hand, and you wait for the archery range master to signal with 1 blast of the whistle, which means begin firing. When you hear that, you can pick up your arrow, and if you'll notice, these are called fletchings, and you'll see one is different. This is called your index fletching, and the reason that's important is because you want to know, when you lay your arrow on your bow, you want the index fletching to be facing away from the bow, because if it's not, it will bounce against the bow and throw off your arrow. So you want to lay it on there, and then you have this little V. This is called your knock, and you want to pop that on the string. Now here's a mistake a lot of beginners make, is that they try to grip their string too tight or use too much of their fingers. And as you can see, that makes the arrow move. What you want to do is just use the tips or the pads of your fingers on the string like this. So you're on the shooting line, your arrow's loaded, you stand straight up and down, hold your arm out, the target's over there, and put your fingers on the string and draw back. When you draw back, it's one smooth motion. Your elbow is straight, not up or down. Your head is up, straight up and down, and you pull back like this. When you pull back, you want to pull the string to the corner of your mouth, right here. This is called your anchor point. And the reason you do that is because you want it to be exactly the same every time you shoot. Archery is a precision sport, and if you do exactly the same thing every time, you will shoot exactly the same way every time. So you've got it, you pull it back, your body is shaped like a T. You look down the arrow at the point, try to line up with the bullseye, and to release the string, you just pop your fingers, just like that. Just move your fingers, no other part of your body. You wait until you hear the thump of the arrow hitting the target before you move at all. Some people do a thing that's called peeking, where they release the arrow, and then they look to see where it's gone, and that can throw off the flight of your arrow and make you shoot off. So then once you've shot your arrow, you can pick up more, keep shooting until your arrows are shot, and then you want to set your bow down and wait. And that's when you hear 3 whistles, which means retrieve your arrows. Then you want to walk to the target. You never ever run on an archery range because there's arrows everywhere, and if you trip, you can fall on them. Send your arrows in your target, and you don't want to just yank it out because that can either pull the target off over you, or it can damage the target. So what you do is you put your hand on the target and pull the arrow out like this. Then when you have your arrows, the way you walk back is you put the tips in one hand, hold the arrow in the other hand, and you walk back. That way you can't hurt yourself with your arrows. Put your arrow back, and that's it. Basic procedure on the archery range. To the shooting line, fire, and retrieve your arrows. Now if any of you are thinking of doing archery yourselves, it takes a lot of practice. A lot of practice. But you know what? It's worth it, because that feeling of satisfaction you get when you hit the bullseye is amazing. Thank you for your time.